Hi, Johanna. How are you doing today?
I am good, thank you so much, Tyson.
Yeah, good. Excellent. That's good to hear. So I'm going to go ahead. It sounds like you have some things that you'd like to share with me today, and so I want to kind of let you take the reins a little bit of the session and talk about what you feel like you have to talk about, and we'll kind of like reflect those feelings, figure out kind of where you want to go from there, and yeah, please share with me today. I'd really like to hear from you.
Okay, yeah, well, I am a little bit confused. So my sister called me last few weeks ago, we talked, and she asked me if she can stay with me for a couple of months. And that's exciting because I like my sister. We're always close. But I'm very confused because the last time she was with me, about 2 years ago, she stayed, and at the time, sons were 6 months old and about 2 years old. And so they stayed with me at home, and at first we thought it's going to be so much fun. Our kids would play so nicely. Our kids would hang out. Um, our kids would be close, just like us. And so that's what we had in our mind. And so they came and stayed at home with me, and at first it was good. It was fun. We go watch places. We were just enjoying each other, being close and having that quality time. But then after, a few weeks, our kids started fighting and little things, being the little one wanted to just get toys from play with my kids' toy, and my kids were just like, "Oh, that's my toy, give it to me," and they would just start fighting, and they're always constantly fighting. But we have never really thought about that, and our minds were like, "Oh, this is going to be so much fun." Combining our families, and so what happened was there was always some kind of like, and our my way of bringing my kids are different than the way she bring her kids. They have different rules for family. I have different rules as my family, um, and that has to be put in one house too. So that was just a lot of challenge uh, there, and so me and my sister have started have misunderstanding and some kind of disagreement on how we have to run the house because two families in this home now. Um, and so now she's asking,
Do you,
hey,
do you feel like in these situations where you have these misunderstandings, are there any issues leading to communication and breakdown, or breakdown in communication rather?
um, I believe so. Yeah, because we could have probably talked more about, how we have to handle two families in one home. We never really talked about it. We were just kind of like, okay, this is so much fun, and that's just what we have in our minds. That
So
that
one of the first things that you'd actually mentioned was this feeling of confusion. You've
Mhm,
had this previous experience before with your sister.
mhm.
There was a lot of unsureness and a lot of confusion, and even some breakdown in communication with the way that you would discipline the children when they started to fight, which kind of promoted a sense of chaos in the environment. I'm sure um, made you incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. 'Cause, for instance, her son hit, but he's small because he's only 2 years old, and I don't want my kids to hit him back
Yeah. Yeah.
because he's bigger.
That's a fear. That's definitely, you don't want to like introduce them to violence any earlier.
No, and
Like,
and but she's the type of person that says, okay, let them handle thing. That's who she is. Like, let them handle their thing. And
mm,
later on when they go out in public, when they go to school, they have to handle their own things. So they have to just figure it out. That's who she is, and but she thinks she has to let her kids grow that way. For me, I am more of like I'm very handy with my kids, very hands on with my kids. no, that's not how it is. You shouldn't hit. That's no.
Right.
So
There's
there's
actually like
different.
different,
They're two different.
right,
And
different
so
disciplinary
I'm
actions.
the one going in there and be the one saying, no, don't hit. And then I get tired because I'm the one that keeps on telling them, no, no, no. And she would be like, they're okay. They're going to handle their problems. Um, so, yeah, but at the same time, I also feel so, yeah, very confused because I want my sister to be here and to spend time with, and that our kids are gonna they're gonna grow up closer.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Hmm,
I don't know.
I'm hearing words like, well, based on from the past, you became tired. So remembering kind of like how you felt in that situation, that's kind of indicative of what it is that you're going to potentially receive in the future if maybe you don't lay some groundwork and some boundaries with your sister, if you're still potentially open for her staying with you. But the confused emotion is kind of like a catalyst for other things. So I'm interested to know maybe really what the confusion makes you feel. A lot of the times confusion can make people feel different things. Like confusion is so ambiguous that it makes a person maybe feel empty, it makes a person feel guarded, it can make a person feel many things. So what does feeling confused mean to you, Jen?
I guess confusion to me, in terms of the situation that my sister is asking is, I'm probably confused because I want her to come, I want her to spend time with us, but I'm also, I guess, confused and kind of worried, I would say, in regards to in answer to your question. I'm just probably worried because I just, it's just stressful. It's just stressful with,
Yeah, stress.
a day-to-day stress being, no, it's not that all bad though. There are times where there's fun and
Yeah.
there, it's just difficult.
Yeah,
It's difficult.
definitely. So when you start to feel worried and you feel stressed out, where in your body do you feel that? Are you aware in the moment that you're stressed out and worried? Or do you
Yeah,
think
I
about
think
how
so.
that's feeling?
Yeah. I felt like I'm. I think I get red, and my neck gets red, and I feel there's heat on my neck part, and my face gets a little bit red, and I feel there's heat going to my or I'm hot from the neck all the way to the face. I would say. That's what I feel when I am stressed, and I feel uh yeah. Uh,
I can imagine how it must feel. I'm sorry that you have to associate that with something as joyous as a family stay can be. Um, so there's certainly things to think about when you associate your sister and their children staying with you. You get worried and you get stressed out, which kind of leads to this physiological response of your neck getting red and you feeling like having a hot flash, or you feel kind of like overwhelmed.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm just getting confused right now. I'm just worried and kind of stressed too because I don't know. What do you think? Should I just tell her to come stay with me and just take it? And just, there are times wherein it's too if I read that of the other side of the story, or I will just have to be direct with her. I'm not sure.
So you feel like you have to, yeah, you feel torn because you want her to come and stay. You enjoy most of the time. You're having a difficult time with the disciplinary action.
Hmm.
The way you raise your children is completely different, and that's understandable. It also sounds like that you're torn because you want her to stay, but at the same time, you know what last time was like, and it causes you to be worried. It causes you to be stressed out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So now I'm I'm just don't know what to do. I mean, when I was in college, I spent days with her, and we had so much fun, and I wanted to have that quality time with her, um, she is a really good sister. When I was in college, she would uh, send me money to pay for my tuition, and then sometimes I would spend it in somewhere else, college days. And then I would tell her, and then she would send me another one.
Yeah, yeah.
She's helpful, and she's always there for me, growing up. And I just feel like, okay, if she feels like she wants to stay with me, my doors are open for her. But I also feel like, oh,
It
that
almost
is a
feels
lot of
like you have
stress
an
with all the
obligation to
kids.
your sister.
Yeah,
Yeah, because of the relationship, and your sister's older than you said, correct?
that is correct.
Yeah, so it kind of almost sounds like being the little sister that you almost have an obligation to your sister to want to take her in and stay, um, be empathetic with her and bring her on, share in your relationship with her and the relationship with your nieces and nephews. So really what it sounds like, Johanna, is that you're a little bit torn. As you were speaking, I was kind of writing out a pros and cons list for you. Um, the pros in terms of all of this is that you desire quality time with your sister and your relatives. You have a good relationship with them. And you also want to kind of reminisce on old memories, but also create new ones, which is
Right.
absolutely normal. You would want those things with your family. In addition, kind of the negatives is the chaos and behavior, the children, the way that they've been raised, the way that they've been kind of almost conditioned to either listen or lack thereof of kind of disciplinary action.
Yeah.
And so that can offer a lot of chaos, and so I understand why you're feeling torn. In terms of kind of figuring that out for yourself, I would suggest maybe writing a little bit more of an in-depth pros and cons list. See kind of how you feel. That'll help kind of guide a decision for you, maybe.
Yeah.
All you can do is keep your own emotional integrity and the emotional integrity of your children intact. If you feel like that's going to be compromised by a visit, that may not be the best thing. However, there are ways around that. I think you would need to improve your communication with your sister, since there was a breakdown last time. And you might find that a plausible solution, if this is what you want, if you do want her to come stay with you, would be to kind of lay out some boundaries and talk to her and just say, hey, the last time you stayed, there was a little bit of breakdown in communication about the way that we needed to kind of like rear in the children, bring them in a little bit in terms of when things started to get chaotic, which it'll happen with younger children. Because the last time, and you can be vulnerable and you can express your worries to your sister. You should be able to. You should be able to feel like she's a safe person, and hopefully she is for you.
Yeah.
And really convey to her that you're feeling a little bit worried about it, and you want everybody to get along and have it be peaceful, and kind of like come to her as another mother and say, like, what are our possibilities here? Like, let's kind of come together and figure out a plan so things aren't quite as chaotic.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. I should be. I mean, we're always open with each other, I can always just come to her and talk to her and tell her really how I feel. And she does it too. So we can really talk about that.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know, maybe we shouldn't just, I think that is good to come together, because when you said something about you really like to have that quality time with her, but you're also torn because of the the things that could happen when both families are trying to get home. And I feel like, yeah, you know what, we can always spend time together and make memories in a different setting. Maybe we can just probably have a vacation somewhere, maybe a 2-week or 3-week vacation somewhere, and then that would be good. Maybe that can be it.
There you go. So there's limitless possibilities, and the last thing that maybe you would want to think about is disrespecting anybody's space and time by limiting any sorts of possibilities that could occur. You said that you could potentially have a vacation.
Mhm.
We kind of visited the idea of having a discussion with her about kind of like when we are together, let's come up with a plan for us to kind of discipline these children a little bit better so there's not a lot of, um, disorganization and chaos kind of going around. And then, of course, the kids are very excited, and they're not thinking about any of this. They just want to kind of be and do what they want to do and have fun. Kids aren't really
Yeah,
looking at that yet.
yeah,
But yeah, there's possibilities there, Johanna, and however you feel that you can take those possibilities and make them work for you, and make them work for everybody involved with their
yeah,
help. It'll promote anyone from feeling emotionally compromised.
yeah, yeah. True. And yeah, yes, as I said, I always wanted for our families to get come together to have that um, quality time together, and I would want that for the children as well. And I think that you know kids are always going to be like that. There are always going to be some fighting, and then that's
Yeah.
part of their life growing up. And that's how they are going to become close as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that is
Good.
that is good. Yeah.
You seem to be in a little bit of a better place. Is that accurate? Do you feel a little bit better after talking today?
Yes, I do. I do. Trying to figure out what is best for both our families, how we can and and how it is. It is good for us to communicate as a sister. How we can make that quality without combining our rules together for a very long time in one house. So
Mhm.
I know what is best for us in terms of you know putting our family together. And
Good.
yeah,
Good.
yeah,
Well, excellent. That's time today, and I really appreciate you sharing everything that you shared with me. And I do hope that you and your sister are able to kind of find a basis of communication, some sort of congruence to bring you all together. So it's not going to cause you so much stress and worry, like you had shared with me earlier today, earlier during our session. So again, Johanna, thank you so much for sharing with me, and we will talk again next week.
yeah. Thank you so much for today and being able to just stay and listen to me, my worries and my frustrations and my confusion. Thank you so much.
You're
Um,
welcome.
that really helped me to really figure out what is the best option for me, and what is the best option for my sister, and where do we go from there.
Good. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, Tyson. How are you today?
I'm okay, Johanna. How are you?
I am okay. And how was your week? And is there anything that you feel like you have to tell me this week?
Um, yeah, it's been a little bit hectic. I was kind of like talking with my mom a little bit, and you know, we're still kind of like reaching this impasse. I'm 30, and she is having some problems accepting my sexuality. And it's kind of been an ongoing battle for us. And on one hand, I should really be kind of like okay with it, but on the other hand, there's kind of this issue of like I don't feel understood by my family. And she's had kind of like a very religious upbringing where she's very much rooted in kind of like the ideologies of the past, where like homosexuality is a sin and like all this other stuff, and very much like her upbringing in the church is kind of like caused her, I guess, to develop these biases. And it's a constant kind of struggle, and it really weighs on me heavily.
Yeah, yeah. So you you just feel so alone and left because your parents um feel like they don't understand you.
Yeah, I do. I feel kind of misunderstood, and that brings up some difficult emotions for me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, um, what the right now? What the scenario at the moment right now with you and your mom? Is there anything that is being so difficult? It's like how do you feel like? Is there anything mom said lately that you feel like well, she doesn't understand me?
Yeah, it's just the whole idea of like, look, if I have like someone I'm really interested in, or for instance, if I have a bad breakup or something, this has been ongoing since I've been, in high school. And like, I knew my sexuality at an early age. And granted, I went through the same things that a lot of young people who question their sexuality go through. But now that I'm 30 and I'm kind of like solidified in it, it's like, I can't go to my mom. Like if I have someone that I'm really interested in, I can't go to her the same way that my brother goes to her. Like he's been married for quite a few years. Like she went through that whole transition with him, and he was always able to go to mom and talk to him about things about his relationship, and I don't have that because
Mhm.
of her own like issues and biases against it. And like I feel really alone. I mean, I have a relationship with my mom and we know that we love each other, but
Yeah,
I mean, I feel I'm misunderstood and alone, and it's making me feel empty.
yeah. Yeah, you know, you feel like you needed more of that connection with your mom. Um, ever since growing up, you feel like you already have this. You already know, like you have this battle of your, what your sexuality, and now that you're 30 years old, you said, okay, I know what I am, and this is what I feel, and then you want to talk it out to your mom more, and then seems to be until now she seems like she can't because of her religious can't accept it fully. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, she can't accept me fully over something that's so like, I'm not going to necessarily say like spirituality and religion are trivial because that's not how I feel. But
Uh-huh.
I just feel like she's so rooted to these ideas that she has no desire to see her daughter transition in this life, to see her daughter go through joyous things, to see her daughter experience, kind of the messy side of life, like to really just have that support and to really feel like, we all kind of vie for our mother's love. We all kind of like,
Right.
we all want that validation. We all want that support. We all want that love. And,
Uh-huh.
it's just something that I don't feel like I have fully. And so there's like kind of an ache,
Uh-huh.
an ache
Uh-huh.
and a sadness almost, where
Yeah.
it's just, I feel unfulfilled in that
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah. Well, you're precious, Tyson, and you are a wonderful person as you are, and your mom knows that. I know your mom knows that you are, and sometimes it is difficult sometimes to go to her because probably as what you said, she has she's rooted to her belief, her religion, and that's what she grew up in. She knows, and she believes something else differently than. Um, but what do you think? Is there any way that you and your mom can, hang out maybe together, make a connection together, and spend time with each other to make that
I think,
connection, and maybe take her out with you one time with your friend? And
yeah.
what do you
Um,
think?
I think it's a matter of like, mom and I have a good connection aside from the sexuality aspect. We do. And we see each other fairly regularly. She lives here in town.
Mhm.
Um, both sets of my parents actually live in town. I mean, I ended up moving back in with my dad and my stepmom. But my mom and my stepdad live on the other side of town, but I see them regularly. And really, I mean, Johanna, the only sense a discovery that I can kind of make that I'm trying to find some healing in, because this seems to be the only thing that I can really cling to, that makes sense to me, is this idea of, well, there's kind of two things. And the first thing is, there's a difference between hate and ignorance. Okay, mom is not a hateful person.
Mm-hmm.
She's able to give and she's able to receive love. I think her upbringing, especially back in the years that she was brought up in, kind of make her a little bit ignorant.
Mm-hmm.
She definitely holds on to those biases, and in addition to that, kind of like ignores the value of her daughter's emotions and the connection, the full connection that I want from her.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of raises another question for me, and it's a matter of like, I think people in general, especially older people, because there is obviously a generation gap there. They can only love you as much as they're able to, and mom's kind of set in her ways. I don't really think that there's anything that we could do to like convince her otherwise. But the reason that kind of brings me peace about, people can only love as much as they're able to, is understanding that there's a time when I can kind of just be comfortable and knowing that our relationship has progressed the way it was meant to. Nobody's purposefully trying to hurt the other person. And there's a little bit of peace in that for me. Of like being able to step back and realizing she's doing the best she can with what she's got and the knowledge base and experience she's had.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a self-discovery. Not necessarily I'm trying to force, but something that I'm just trying to find some peace in, knowing that I've done everything that I can do in the relationship to love her and nurture her the way a daughter should. And knowing,
that's a great realization, Tyson, with you knowing that she can love me the way, how she knows how to love me. And, that is a great realization. That's just going to, I'm like, so when you, you just mentioned that you feel that, ignore your emotions sometimes. You mentioned that one. And so when that happens, when those things, in those moments happens, when you feel like you are ignored, your emotions are not heard, or you're ignored, how do you feel? What stage comes to your body? What do you feel at the time when that happens?
It makes me feel sad. It makes me feel neglected. Because I do have brothers who are in relationships who, I mean, they love talking to them about about their relationships and see where they can help, see where they can just listen, and I don't have those same things. It makes me feel neglected. It makes me feel like I'm not worth it, and it cracks my sense of self-worth, and it hurts,
Yeah. Well, it really hurts when those you love, you feel that those people that you love, you feel that you're rejected.
Yeah.
And that, so any, it is, I totally understand where you're coming from, and I can understand how you're feeling.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, and sometimes you feel alone and you don't have anybody to talk to, because the people that you trust and the people that you love, you feel like you can come to them anytime you want to talk to them. Yeah, and that's not easy.
No, and it's been like that for a long time, and you kind of touched on something that helped me also make the realization of like, there's kind of something to be said about your chosen family. the people that are around you that do support you wholly, the people that are around you that love you and accept those things. And it's like, yes, she's your mother. Yes, she has that title.
Mm-hmm.
But, and yes, there's nothing like a mother's love, but at the same time, it's like, if she's not in a place where she can give that to you, that doesn't mean everybody's in a place that they can't give that to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, finding that support is meaningful. And I do have a good support system that has been there with me through every sloppy breakup, through every joyous moment in a relationship, through finding my own self in terms of my sexuality. I've had friends that I've known since high school who I still have really good friendships with that, saw that raw transition, saw everything that's led up to the person that I am today. And those are my chosen family.
Yeah.
The people that I know that I can go to. And so maybe you're right. Maybe there's a sense of like not necessarily having to find my mother's love elsewhere, but understanding that, she's not in a place where she can give that, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to find it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I am so glad you found your support system, and that is very important in life.
Yeah.
I remember when I was also, in my college years, and I would say I was the black of the family because I was just different. I was feeling so different from my family, and I have my friends that I can count on, and I feel like they heard me, they can understand me better, and that time of my life was just feel like without them it would have been so hard. That's great to find somebody that can really listen to you and can understand you and know exactly how you're feeling, and that is so important that you have that.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I really appreciate you helping me kind of sort through these emotions and figuring out, really kind of where I need to direct my love. Like, I'm always going to love my mom, and I'm always going to love her the way that I know she can receive, and love her the way that I feel like I can give.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of just in the meanwhile, like, do what I have to do for myself not to feel emotionally compromised, and really, really lean on the people that do support me fully. My love for my mother will never go away. And we'll always have the relationship that we have. Like, we do great things together. We make jewelry together. We go to lunch every once in a while. We just go to the house and I'll go to the house and talk a little bit, and we'll spend time, and that time is valuable. And I do love that with her, and I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world. But yeah, I'll always give her unconditional positive regard and love. But there's kind of a little bit of peace knowing that, I can't let her in on every aspect of my life because she's just not in a place where she can receive that, and that's okay.
Yeah. Well, Tyson, that you are, people love you. Your love, your purpose, and your values. And remember that. Remember that. And we will talk more next week when we come together. I'll see you next week.
All right, Johanna. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.